12th of July 2018. We have started our Beijing trip. We would like to comprehend the general view of migrant workers in Beijing. One of our member, Keith, is going to interview the locals.
你知道在农村来城市打工的人，他们叫什么？你知不知道？可以换一个问题。过农民工。
你说的是那种就是建筑工？
搬砖。搬砖。
就感觉每天都晒太阳。
挺有礼貌。
农民工他来这里，他也不是很诚实的来这里骗这骗那的，是吧？
很辛苦的，环境也不是很好。
It seems that most of the interviewees didn't know migrant worker well, so let us define what migrant workers are. We also interviewed a migrant worker, Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen went to Beijing a few years ago. He mentioned that he wants to earn a higher salary, so he came to work in the city. This is because his work is temporary. Except providing accommodation, the job does not include any social security and welfare, like 五保一金。
那除了宿舍住在宿舍以外，有没有什么福利啊？
哪有福利？
这一天会不会很久啊？几个小时？
一天9个吧。
What caused these inequalities to migrant workers? So, this video, we will focus that on the second generation of migrant worker, which refer to migrants born in the 18th to 19th. We will first divide the past 70 years of China into 3 periods, to give a clear background information of the inequalities of migrant workers. From 1949 to 1978, there was a planned economy in China. Planned economy is that the economic system is fully controlled by the government, and they regulate production, distribution, price, etc. The second period is 1978 to 2001. The economic system of China turned into mixed economy. Market economy was introduced, and it partly integrated with planned economy. Some example push forward China was attempting to achieve globalization, like Mao Zedong decided the policy of reform and opening up. Also, starting from 1979, the China government will set up special economic zones. It was creating a lot of job opportunity in factories, which lead to pushing of migrant workers from their rural area to urban area to work and earn money. The last period is 2001 to present. Market economy mostly introduced in China. Also, with the idea of neoliberalism, China has fully integrated into global market and became global China. One of the examples is China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001. What inequality of migrant workers facing? Firstly, we will define what inequality is. Then we would like to explain this issue through 3 aspects: enterprise, government, and society. In the enterprise aspect, employment opportunities are limited. It will lead to limitation of work type and affect job stability. The majority of migrant workers work in manufacture, construction, and service industry, which are high risk, high labor intensive, and low wages with poor working conditions. Also, unfair employment treatment. Migrant worker tends to receive lower wages for same job compared with local citizens. 48% of migrant workers in poor welfare delta regions earn less than 160 yuan. In order to encourage local people to find employment, the minority of town employment in poor welfare delta has taken measures to make local citizens get about 10% higher wages than migrant workers in the same occupation and position. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, The average monthly employment time of migrant work 2,020 hours, which is 1.3 times higher than legal hours, 167 hours. For example, Yang and his 40 workers took a project in central China that built a cow shed for a local company. Although the construction work went smoothly as planned, Yang never get paid. Moreover, the insufficient guarantee of work. The local insurance law indicated that employers should enroll 5 insurance programs for each employee, which include pension, medical, work-related injury insurance, unemployment compensation, and maternity insurance. However, migrant workers are rarely participating in this program. There are only 35.4% of migrant workers have signed a labor contract with the employer, and the participation rate of pension, unemployment, work-related injury insurance are only 22, 17, and 27 respectively in 2017. Therefore, the majority of migrant workers will not be compensated for any work-related and will be dismissed. In the government aspect, the problem of education for children of migrant workers. The children of migrant workers can be divided into 2 categories: left behind children who stay in rural areas for education, and other mobile children who follow their parents to the city and receive education. And the housing problem for migrant workers. The residency of migrant workers is not guaranteed. There are plenty of restrictions on incorporating migrant workers into urban housing security system. Migrant workers only post a temporary resident permit in the city, not permanent resident. They cannot rent low-rent housing, cannot purchase affordable housing, cannot receive urban housing security, and unable to purchase commercial housing. Take bank mortgage loans in Changshu as an example. The bank requests the mortgage to permanent residents, fixed job, and stable income, which undoubtedly exclude migrant workers. According to National Bureau of Statistics, 69.3% of migrant workers live in dormitory, construction site, production and operation site, or share with others. In the social aspect, there are 2 kinds of social discrimination that migrant workers are facing. The first one is identity and cultural discrimination. The society discrimination toward migrant workers may due to different social status. Most citizens believe that the migrant workers belong to second class, so they think that the workers are inferior, lower class, and not comparable to them. Back to Beijing Olympics in 2008, there were CPP-CC members made the call for drive migrant workers away from Beijing, as they thought those workers would give a negative impression, disturb the social order, and adversely affect the public image, civilization, and development of the city. In addition to this, the migrant workers also being discriminated because of their low consumption power. Once a travel agency received 100 migrant workers to live in 5-star hotel for free, but the workers did not receive the 5-star service. Police were keeping a watchful eyes on them as they were under supervision by the police and attendants. There were also stores and shops with notice of no migrant worker allotted, which seemed to tell the public that even though the migrant worker has money, they still could not consume due to their symbol of identity, image, and class. The second inequality in social aspect is employment and health discrimination. The migrant workers are also being disadvantaged in certain client jobs and in the workplace. Most of the workers have to seek for jobs through an official market, friend recommendations, otherwise they would be unemployed. Same job but different pay, overtime working without pay, etc. Such kind of unequal right and treatment toward the workers are mentioned in previous part. Moreover, the working environment of migrant workers are extremely poor. They have to work in a toxic and harmful environment without any preventive or protection measure and equipments. Most of the migrant workers do not have medical insurance, therefore, many of them would in great danger or even die when they suffer from illness. After we understood what inequality that migrant workers facing, the cause of inequality can be divided into three sections, namely global, government, and individual. In global, under the influence of globalization, geographic distance has become less important and time is greatly compressed. The practice of division of labor, which countries specialize in producing the goods that have comparative advantage, become the global trend to maximize profit and reduce costs. For example, including Foxconn, migrant workers work in factories since the requirement and barrier is comparatively low. Spread of neoliberalism is a concept that advocates the reduction of significancy and expenditure of government through widespread privatization of state-owned enterprise, industry deregulation, and a confrontation with powerful trade unions. The state opened up its market and reduced the intervention in social protection. This action promoted the inflow of capital and foreign investment. State-driven export-oriented development strategy. To attract foreign direct investment, population distribution has been shaped to create abundant low-cost labor force by relaxing household registration system to allow rural peasants to work in the city, but at the same time, withdraw from the provision of social protection. Government. Migrant population provides labor power for the economic boom in urban areas, but they are often being excluded and abused by the government decision-making. It slowly become a vulnerable group in urban society. Household registration Wuku system. Wuku system is a governmental household registration system which mainly divided the Chinese population into two segments, agriculture and non-agriculture population. Wuku system initially designed in the 1950s to support the centrally planned economy, which to subjugate population mobility, also serve as welfare allocation system. This Wuku system have deprived the right of rural migrant workers. For example, local residents with urban Wuku can enjoy healthcare, housing, and subsidies. Also, other social welfare benefits provided by local government. Yet, residents with urban Wuku are excluded from it. As a result, it has led to various types of discrimination and inequality among the migrant workers. Unbalanced of urban and rural inputs have a negative impact on national developments. In the 19th, Deng Xiaoping proposed let a part of the population get rich first. It widened regional gap between urban and rural areas. In terms of geographic origin of migrant workers, they are mostly originated from the China central and southern region. For example, Yunnan, Henan, Hubei, Ganxiao. These regions are mostly mountainous or desert areas. Due to the limitation of geographic conditions, they are not conducive to large-scale farming and low crop output. The development lack and traffic inconveniency in these regions have further aggravated the local poverty and hindered the development of the locality. Due to insurmountable natural environment limitation and long-term regional gap, it is difficult for national investment to meet the development needs of this region. As a result, the GDP of urban and these regions differ greatly. It has a causal chain relationship with education. Chinese education system is hierarchical. School funding is paid by the corresponding township, village, or city government. Hence, the educational expenditure between rural area and urban area vary widely. Finally, individual. Besides global and governmental factors, migrant workers itself also has some comparative disadvantages. These disadvantages restrict the development of migrant workers and limit their opportunity. Unskilled and ill-educated. According to National Bureau of Statistics, The majority of migrant workers only receive junior high level of education. It also only 33% of migrant workers receive training in agriculture and non-agriculture discipline. Thus, this will restrict their occupational type, which limit workers' work in menial and low-paid jobs. It also limits worker promotion prospects and social class upgradation. Transient working period refer to workers only seek for job during slack farming season. Therefore, they can only be working as a temporary job. Thus, they won't be protected by labor policy, nor enjoy any employment security. Until now, the phenomenon of inequality is still existing. How can the Chinese government help migrant workers achieve equality? What can we do to help?